So I've just done the... Nah, I'll just show you. Okay. We walk over to the ladder. And you can see it works in every direction. But look at the collision box. We hit the collision box, we get on the ladder. We can climb up, we can climb down. We hit the box again and we get off. Whatever direction we're facing, we'll turn and we'll face the ladder. You see my hands moving up and down because there's an animation. Now once we hit the top, we go forward and we've gotten off the ladder. Great. So that's the first bit. Now we're on a platform and we can get on with our day. But we want to get back down. We can either just jump off or we can spin, get on the ladder. We can climb down. You can see we can only look up or down. We can get back up. Okay, we didn't really want to get down, so we got back up. But now we want to get down. So we spin again, climb to the bottom of the ladder, and we get off. That's it. This is the 4th time I've started this now. I am quite drunk though, but so many problems with recording software. Okay, so if you did see on the Facebook post, this is going to be a kind of tutorial on a ladder. It seems simple, but it's not that simple. Now, I've said these things a few times now, but I have to say it again now. I'm not going to build one from scratch. I'm not going to talk you through step by step how to make a ladder, because that's not what you need to know. The principle is the important thing, and learning the engine is the most important thing. You're not going to learn the engine from a tutorial video. You've got to spend hours sitting there learning it. I'm not an expert. I would say that I'm still a beginner. But hopefully, if you want to know how to make a ladder, this can help you, and some of the things that you will see in this might help you with other concepts. Now, I'm going to explain what this ladder is. And was there anything else? I'm sure I ranted about something else. But yeah, I think I was going to piss on everyone's strawberries who has big ideas of what they want to do. Yeah, things are possible, but you've got to remember that if you have this grand idea of what your game is going to be, you've got to remember, are you a team of people? Do you have 20 hours a day to work on this? Have you got 2 years to dedicate to something that is going to be grand? Because it's likely, if you've got a huge idea, that it's just not going to happen. If you're not going to make GTA 6, it's just not going to happen. It's not really possible. That's a team of experts working on a game for years. So choose your project wisely. What are you trying to make? Is it possible? Have you got the time and the skill or the capability to make that happen? Have you got the resources? Where are your buildings going to come from? Where are the trees going to come from? Where are your characters going to come from? You've got to answer all these questions before you even start your project. But where's your ladder going to come from? This is a ladder. Okay, so I will explain it eventually. I hate the YouTube videos where people babble on at the start and you're just there screaming, get to the fucking point, man, come on, I want to know. But it's important, these things. So, we have a ladder, which is a static mesh. We have a collision box at the top, a collision box at the bottom, and we have these various arrows. Let's look at the blueprint. Okay. So, as this is the 4th time I've gone over this, I should be an expert by now. Right. We have a collision box. We have an arrow. Well, we have actually a few arrows. What the arrow does is gives us a position and a rotation in the world. Each one of these arrows, apart from the one in the middle, gives us a position and a rotation that we want to go to. And the ladder, or these collision blocks, will trigger events that will push us to the different arrow locations and rotations. I think that explains it well, probably better than I did before. Okay, so if we go into the actual blueprint view, I changed this a lot. There were so many other crazy things going on before I actually made it work properly. Okay, on component begin overlap, bottom. That is the box at the bottom of the ladder. I should say with this, the actual static mesh doesn't block. We've just got overlap. It could be no collision. We've actually got another box here that that just sits kind of on the ladder to stop, and this has block all. That just stops you walking through the ladder or walking from behind the ladder. Now, I'm not saying this is a perfect solution. Maybe there's a better method, and if you know one, please tell me. Please tell me. If you have collision on the ladder, or you have block on the ladder, you can't really. It creates problems with you interacting with the ladder or overlapping with it. So it was kind of better to just put, basically, like, imagine it like a board behind the ladder to stop you walking straight through it. So let me explain what happens when you hit the bottom of the ladder. We hit the box, okay? We're cast into the character, and we're going to draw a lot of information from our third person character. That will feed various things. Okay. This is to do with my animation. You don't need to worry about that. It just stops it just stops random aim. Okay. We disable the input. We don't want the player, the person playing the game, to be able to look around or anything like that while this action is taking place. We want to check a couple of things to see, do we want to join the ladder or not? And there's various things you might, like, let's say if you're sprinting, you might not want to join the ladder if you're sprinting. There's certain things, situations where you might not want to join the ladder. So if these things are true, we re-enable the input and go back to normal, and we don't join the ladder. The things I've got set: are you crouched? Are you reloaded? Firstly, if you're doing those things, I don't want to join the ladder. The third thing is a calculation. Now we're taking the position, or rather the rotation of the character from the capsule component and the rotation of the arrow. We are generating a number that gives us a value here, and if it's inside a certain range, we will not join the ladder. What this means: are you facing the general direction of the ladder? No, then we won't join the ladder. Okay, so all in all, you have to not be crouching, not reloading, and you have to be facing the general direction of the ladder. Are you on the ladder? If you're already on the ladder, we want to get off. If you're not on the ladder, we want to get on. So we're not on the ladder initially. This is a variable that will be set inside the third person character. Okay, we're not on the ladder. We don't need that, actually. That shouldn't be there because it's already happened. We set a changing weapon and we set this IK. These two are just to do with the animation. They're not important for you right now. Just lowers the weapon and moves the hands to the standing positions. We also hide the equipped weapon. So we're taking from the third person character, getting the equipped weapon, hiding it. This is the meat, the important part. We have a timeline and we're using lerps to set the position and the rotation. It took me 9 minutes to get to that, almost 10 minutes. That is crazy. This is taking way longer than it should. We're going from 0 to 1 in half a second. It's just a float track. If you don't understand what a lerp is and a timeline is, you're in the wrong place. You need to learn what those things are. This might help you learn, who knows? Okay, let's talk about the location first. So we're spitting out an update to set actor location. And we're using the lerp. Location A. Get actor location. That is the location of the player. Location B. You can see here arrow 1. That was the arrow at the bottom of the ladder. The position we want to be on when we join the ladder. So we're going from A to B over half a second, and then it would finish. But we're also setting the rotation, but we're not setting the actor rotation. We need to get the controller from the third, this is from the third person character. We need to get the controller and get the control rotation. Okay, and that's whatever direction we're facing right now. Whichever way we're looking, that is our control rotation, not our actor rotation. So here we're using a lerp on a rotator. So the A is whatever direction we're facing. The B is the rotation, the world rotation of the arrow. Okay, we need to check the shortest path to make sure it goes directly there, the quickest possible route. Okay, and it's the same 0 to 1. Okay, and you can see there we get set control rotation. Again, this is look from where it's fed, from the controller. I hope that makes sense. We're updating our location and our rotation based on the values from the arrow. We're taking the actor and the control rotation. We're moving position and rotation to face those two things. When we complete, we're actually repeating these to make sure, just as a double check, to make sure we're going to the right place. Sometimes there could be an error, let's say, but this is a final position that it's sending it to. I don't think that's really essential. What is essential is setting a variable to say we are on the ladder. Now this is a variable inside your third person character. We need to know that you are on a ladder because the control system is going to change. We have to know this. Okay. Target character movement. Set movement mode, flying. This allows us to go up and down because we don't want to walk around. We want to fly. Kind of. We're just pretending we're on a ladder. We're flying. And then this is a second timeline and a second lerp to make us move up the ladder a few steps. We do this so we move outside of the bounds of the collision box, because we might want to get straight back off the ladder. So then once we're off the box, we hit the box again, we get back off the ladder. Hope this makes sense. So again, float track 0 to 1, half a second. Lerp vector. We're taking the actor location, and then for B, the position we're going to, we're adding 5 to the Z value, and we're updating actor location. Once we've completed, we enable the input again. That allows us to move. However, there's an important point here. We have to set the parameters of this movement. Now, the first thing, let's look at the movement input. I've got a few things going on here, but we have the input axis, move forward, input axis, move right. When we're on the, so firstly, move right. When we're on the ladder, we don't want to move left or right, do we? Are you on the ladder? Yes. Then don't do anything with this axis value. And then from the move forward input, this is where we're going to change things. There's a few things going on, but you can see here, are we on the ladder? So when we join the ladder, this is the variable that we've turned on. Yes, we're on the ladder. Again, don't worry about those, they're to do with my animation. Okay. From that value, which is our W and S keys, we're getting the actor up vector. And we're using the axis value. That makes us go up or down the ladder. Okay? I really hope that makes sense. So we can't go left and right, but when we use the input axis for the move forward, we will go up and down now, not forward and backwards. That should make sense. I really hope it does. And we have a similar thing with the mouse input. This would be to turn left or right. Are we on the ladder? Yes. Then don't turn left or right. Okay then, fine, I won't. Good, don't. And then we've got the look up, but we still want to look up or down. But we don't want to look all the way up or all the way down. There's a few values set here. But are we on the ladder? No, acts normally. Yes. Then we have a maximum pitch value of 30 and a minimum pitch value of -45. You don't have to set these values. You need to look at it and think, how far up do I want to look? Do I want to look all the way up? Do I just only want to look level? Do I want to be able to look down? You have to set those values. It's all up to you. Okay. The important thing is you won't be able to look left or right. You can just look up or down. In the animation blueprint, you can set it so the head is the only thing that moves, not the spine and things like that, which usually move with your aim rotation. Wow, this has taken forever. Right, so we are on the ladder. How wonderful. And we can't look left or right, we can't move left or right, we can only go up or down, and we can only look up or down. The secondary action, so now we are on the ladder, but we press the S key, we go down the ladder, and we hit, or we overlap with the box at the bottom, this box. This time, because we set a value to turn the on ladder on, this is going to fire a true. And if we are true, we don't want to fly anymore. We want to walk like a man or like a lady. So we set our movement mode to walking, again from the character movement, again fed from our third person character. We have a timeline. Again, guess what? 0 to 1, half a second. Easy. No problems. We are feeding an alert of a vector. We don't even need to worry about the rotation now, because we're already rotated to the right direction. It's even easier. However, instead of going from, instead of using the position of the other arrow, we now have this off arrow at the bottom, which is this one. You can see where it is, it's away from the box. That's the whole point. We don't want to be on the ladder anymore. We've got to move a few steps back. And then, once we're a few steps back, we can walk immediately forward and rejoin the ladder. We don't want to be in a position where we're on top of a collision box. We want to move away from it. It smooths everything out when we do that. Okay, so we've set off ladder, and now we're updating a vector lerp. We're going from the actor location, which will be a position on the ladder, to our B position, which is the off arrow, which is a few steps away from the ladder. We've already set ourselves to walking. So we're updating. We actually do a sweep on this one in case there's anything behind us. That will stop the movement, and we'll go to finished. Again, we've set the actor location. To override anything, we'll just automatically go to this position now. If we are not in the correct position. We take our location, go to the arrow position. Simple. I hope so. Set actor hidden in game. This is our weapon. We're making it appear again. We're doing the things that I said before to do with my animation. Changing weapon means we just lower the weapon out of view of the camera. This makes it bring the weapon back up. We then enable the input again. So now we have movement again. And again, my other animation thing. So now we're back to our standard movement pattern. And because now we are not on the ladder, the turn event, and the lookup event, and the movement events are all back to normal, because on ladder is off. So go for your normal movement. That is the bottom box. I really hope that made sense. Let's talk about the box at the top, shall we? We shall. When we hit the box, again we're doing this, we're casting to the third person character, getting the play character. It's a very similar process to getting on the box at the bottom. But I actually have quite a big list of things that mean I won't do anything. If I'm jumping, I don't want to join the ladder. If I'm crouching, aiming, firing, reloading, falling, I don't want to join the ladder. Imagine you fall off a building and you happen to collide with a ladder. You would then go into the ladder animation. That doesn't make any sense. It's crazy. You don't want to jump into it. Yeah. So there's so many things that I set. Just go back to normal. Just ignore the fact that you've collided with it. Okay. Again, are you on the ladder? Yes or no? So if we're joining the ladder from the top, no, we're not on the ladder. Let's firstly go over we are on the ladder. So we've got on the ladder, we've climbed up, we're going up the ladder, we get to the top, we hit this box. We've climbed up and we're hitting this box at the top. Again, no input. We're setting off the ladder immediately. We have a timeline. Guess what it does? 0 to 1 in half a second. We have a little smoother movement here. It's exactly the same. No one cares. What are our positions? Our actor location, point A, point B, the off arrow at the top, which is this arrow. You go here. So it moves us away from the bounding box and a few steps forward onto the platform that we are joining. So we're setting the actor location. Upon completion, we're setting the final location just to be sure. Re-enabling the input. We are now unhiding the weapon, because you remember we hid the weapon. This makes the left hand attach to the gun in my, if it's a rifle, in my animation blueprint. We've turned changing weapon off, so our weapon is lowered. We're now bringing the weapon to the standard view, and we are setting the movement mode to walking. That's pretty simple. Hit the top box, get off the ladder. Good. The most difficult bit that I found was rejoining the ladder at the top. Are we on the ladder? No, we're standing on the platform. Okay, so let's go into the false then. We have also got the kind of range that I spoke about before. Are we facing the general direction? Because if we're not facing the general direction, then we probably don't want to get on the ladder, do we? We want to be facing the general direction. That's all that this is saying. You can work that out, hopefully. Again, I'm not giving you those really fine details because that's not the important bit. The principle is the important bit. That shouldn't be there. Okay, so let's say if you're not, we're just going to ignore it. If you are facing the direction of the ladder, at the top, lower the weapon, hide the weapon, set the movement mode to flying. Use a timeline 0 to 1, little smooth movement. Woo! Get the actor location, point A. Point B, it's the location of arrow 2. Where's arrow 2? It's here, on the ladder. You see how far underneath the box it is? That means your head will not hit the box anymore. That way, if you decide to get, oh, I actually want to be at the top, then you go straight back up and you get off the ladder again. Just smooths it out, as I said before. This is too much detail. Again, the important thing here is the rotation, because we've got to spin all the way round. It's a much more difficult one than the one at the top. And I used to use a different method and it didn't work, but now it works. Okay. Get the controller, get the control rotation. A is our control rotation. Point B, the world rotation of our arrow. And we set those over half a second. Maybe, is this still half a second? It's actually 1 second, so it's longer because it's should be a much longer spin to get in position. So this one's actually 1 second, not half a second. But same as before, this alpha value is set by that timeline. Upon completion, we again repeat that just to make sure we're in the right position. We turn on the variable for on ladder. We enable our input and we stop the random movement that I have set. So I really hope that makes sense. And it definitely doesn't, and you're definitely going to have like a ton of questions. I don't want to go too much into the animation blueprint and things like that, but let's have a look at it quickly. There's a couple of things I talked about. Firstly, I have a blend space. I have 1 frame here, my speed is 0. What I did, I took the climbing animation, it's just 1 frame with no movement. So if you stop still on the ladder, it'll just stay at this frame. Maximum speed for that is 200, and it's just the guy climbing up the ladder. So you stop, you climb. As I say, this is not perfect. Setting on the ladder in your state machine will take us to ladder, where we have the climb animation defined by the speed. That's it. It's just a ladder blend space. So let me briefly explain the thing about only the head moves when you're on the ladder. Ordinarily, we have spine, spine 1, and spine 2. This is from a mix-em-up character. That's our normal animation when we look up or down, left or right. Well, just up or down actually. It's fed from the aim rotation in our event graph. Okay, our control rotation, blah blah blah. Okay, but are we on the ladder? Again, we're cast to the third person character and we have the information. Are you on the ladder? Or really, the the animation is set. That feeds on ladder. On ladder feeds ladder climb. Are you on the ladder? Yes. Head only. No, normal rotation. Head only. Just moves this bone. It ignores these. It ignores the spine. It only moves the head. Not going to go into detail. I'm really not. Okay. As I said, whatever direction I'm facing, I hit the box. We face the ladder. We go up a few steps. We can only look up or down. We press down. We get back off the ladder. We're in our normal movement. We get on the ladder. On the up or down. Let's climb. See the animation. It's not perfect. We're working with mixing up. Get to the top of the ladder. We get off. And now we're free to move around on this platform. We see the ladder, we walk to the ladder, we spin, we get down, and we can climb down the ladder, and we get off the ladder. Easy. All in all, this has been a terrible tutorial, and it may have put you off listening to anything I've ever said. But that's the way it goes. I don't think I've missed anything. I really don't think I have. The other thing is, when you are on the ladder, you don't want to be able to shoot. So there's things like here, right? If you're on the ladder, you can't shoot. Your primary fire is disabled if you're on the ladder. And there's so many things that you don't want to happen when you're on the ladder. Okay, so I hope that helps. I hope that helps you gain an understanding of the concept of it, at least. As I say, like, it might be frustrating. You think, oh, I want to know step by step how to create a ladder. But you need to learn the fundamentals and just understand the concepts. There's a few notes really with this. The position and size of this matters. And the position of your arrows matters as well, and you're really going to have to play around with those to make sure you get in the right place. If it's not in the right place, it's not going to work properly. And you really got to go over and over the positions to make sure, right, is that the right place? Is that the right place? Should it be a little higher? Should it be a little lower? Is it unnatural when it goes up? When I get to the top, does that look right? Is that quite right? Is this spin right? Does that look natural? You can also jump off, but that's something you have to set with a launch on a jump, on your jump function. So it's just setting those things right, and then you can create children from that. So I've got here, I mean, this is just like a test space, this isn't really like my game. This one doesn't work quite correctly because this ladder is not straight. It will only really work with a straight ladder. But so it's the same thing, works the same way. It's just those two boxes that cause you to turn. Okay, so there's another one over here. I can show you my climb function while we're doing that. It's just simple. Box, ladder, this is a wooden ladder. Get to the top, get off. Easy. Okay. So, if you've got like a ton of questions, I'm really not going to answer them. Again, that's going to be frustrating for some people, but you've got to work it out. You've got to spend time figuring those things out. That ladder took so long to figure out, like so long, and it's not even that difficult. So you've got to spend time learning things. There's a lot of things that I learned making that ladder that can be applied to lots of other things. And if I just followed a step-by-step guide saying, do this, do that, I wouldn't have learned anything, would I? But let's see, maybe everything will be terrible in the end. Let me show you a couple of other things. Shoot it, flames come out, it sets on fire, starts to shake, and eventually explodes. And the barrel flies through the air and sets on fire. The aim transition is just like that. Okay, and with a different gun, it's like that. Sniper rifle. There's something wrong with it. Yeah, you can see at the edges there's like a blurred bit, and I can hold shift to hold it steady. Kill this guy. You're dead. And I can do a slide. There's kind of like a cover function. So if I crouch, I can peek. Hello. Goodbye. Hello. Goodbye. If I'm at the edge, I can peer down the side. And that obviously works when you're standing up as well. And if I'm here, I can peek down this side. Good thing about this is it can navigate going round an object. And this is using line tracers. With my slide, and, oh, that was terrible. I really mistimed that. I can slide under here. Again, that still wasn't very good. Can make him come to me, and I can send him away. Go here. Go there. And I hold down, and he comes to me. So that's not too difficult. I can't remember what the other things I said were. I think that's it. Okay. Again, if you've got like an easy question, ask me. But like, I haven't got like a lot of time to answer a lot of questions. I just don't. Cool. I hope that was useful. And I feel like a lot of people are going to hate me now. Good. Goodbye.